Good evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, the BJP's big show in Bhopal. Modi attacks the Congress for harping on inclusive growth, says the BJP has done much more for the poor. Is Modi trying to steal the Congress's pro-poor agenda and avoid being labelled only as a messiah for the middle class? That's a big political debate as the war of words over development heats up. Also tonight, a new twist to the Oscar row. The head of the jury that selected India's entry says India should be submitting 5 films instead of 1. But is that the solution, or is there an urgent need to make the selection process more transparent? But first tonight, news that's just breaking at this hour. Disquiet and anger within the government at the highest levels over claims made by former Army Chief General V.K. Singh that secret military funds were channeled through Kashmiri politicians for what he called stability projects, privately conceding there could be grave consequences for the credibility of India's peace initiatives in the valley. Top officials now say the priority is to probe whether the claims made against General Singh in an internal army report are in fact accurate. Barkha Dutt now joins us on the phone line from Frankfurt. She's travelling with the Prime Minister, who is en route to New York for the UN General Assembly. Barkha, what more are senior officials saying?
Well, Lizzie, I think what one is really picking up is how concerned, how angry and how worried people are in the government at the highest levels. People are actually conceding, officials are conceding to us that this could have consequences not just within the Kashmir Valley, but even in terms of the questions that could be raised at international fora, for example, by Pakistan, with that peace initiative in Kashmir getting potentially damaged by some of the allegations that have come up, especially about involving channeling funds through local politicians in the state. Now, what highly placed officials in the government are saying is this. They are saying if these allegations are true, especially about money being routed through politicians, then, to borrow a phrase from one of the officials, it is completely wrong, it is completely unacceptable. This official went on to say that the army has no business using politicians to channel funds for any kind of project. However, what is very significant is that in the government's assessment, the internal army inquiry report, Nidhi, and this was the one that was headed by General Bhatia, which has created this whole storm. In the government's assessment, this army inquiry report has not been able to prove that money was actually paid off. The government officials are saying that the army inquiry report is merely quoting other army officers making this claim. So what top officials are telling us is that although General V.K. Singh's statements have been extremely worrying, in fact one official said that most of what he has said sounds absolutely wrong, they are saying the general cannot be taken at face value. They're now talking about a wider probe. This probe will look into not just General V.K. Singh's own statements in multiple interviews, it will also take the army inquiry forward, because government officials are saying that the army inquiry is not conclusive. So what we're looking at is a wider probe. When I asked officials whether this would be a CBI probe or a judicial probe, they refused to elaborate on the nature of the probe, but they did say it would be a wider probe. It could involve multiple agencies, and that if true, this is something that, to use an exact phrase that one high-level official used,
right,
this is something that could have enormous damage for the country's interests.
All right, a big story there that continues to develop. Barkha, thanks very much for joining us. Moving on, it was touted as the BJP's big show of unity, with Advani and Modi sharing a stage for the first time in Bhopal at a rally today. But instead, Advani openly snubbed Mr. Modi on stage, not even looking at the BJP's prime ministerial candidate when he bent down to touch his feet. Addressing lakhs of cheering crowds, though, a short while later, Mr. Modi was full of praise for his colleague Shivraj Chauhan, careful not to brag about Gujarat's achievements. He also tore into the Congress and interestingly spoke about the BJP's pro-poor agenda, accusing the Congress of just harping on inclusive growth since it had actually done nothing for the poor.
They came together, they held hands. Advani offered Narendra Modi a bouquet, but then didn't bless him. A sign that Advani has not buried his opposition to Modi's elevation. The Modi-Advani exchange added to the tense start to the BJP show of strength in Bhopal. The Shivraj Singh camp was worried that Modi would steal the show of 4 lakh odd supporters, and the issue would no longer be Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Restive crowds rooted for Narendra Modi. But by the time the rally ended, the BJP walked away with some relief. Leader after leader tried to differentiate between the face for Madhya Pradesh and the Lok Sabha elections.
शिवराज जी के नेतृत्व में मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार और श्री नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की केंद्र में सरकार आप जो बनाएंगे।
मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान ही होंगे, किसी को शंका नहीं है इस बात में कि भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ही होंगे।
But Modi didn't forget his own role, positioning himself as the prime ministerial candidate, launching a potent attack on the Congress.
Using the Congress's slogan of inclusive growth, something Rahul Gandhi taunted the BJP with at his last rally, Modi turned it around to attack the Congress.
पहले कभी कांग्रेस के किसी नेता के मुंह से दिल्ली में बैठी किसी सरकार के द्वारा इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ ये शब्द हमने कभी सुना नहीं। इन दिनों उनको उछल उछल करके इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ ये शब्द प्रयोग करना पड़ रहा है। महात्मा गांधी जी के जीवन के अंतकाल में इच्छा थी इस देश में से कांग्रेस को बिखेर दिया जाए।
The Modi-Advani relationship continues to be tense. Modi's prime ministerial candidature is yet to get the unfettered endorsement of several central and state leaders. But the chief ministers of the BJP, it seems, are already working at a mutually beneficial political relationship. Narendra Modi can swing the votes for Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh, and Shivraj Singh Chauhan's third term can contribute to Modi's Delhi march. And that is why it seems that they are ignoring the Delhi divide and investing in each other's future. In Bhopal with Rizwan Khan and Siddharth, Rahul Srivastava for NDTV.
So is Narendra Modi trying to steal the Congress's pro-poor slogan? Joining us tonight on that, we have Devang Nanavati, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have from the Congress party senior leader from Gujarat, Amiben Yagnik. Also joining us tonight from the Shiv Sena, Rahul Narvekar, close ally of the BJP. Amir Raza Hussain, former vice president of the BJP's Delhi unit, well-known theatre personality, and senior journalist Siddharth Bhatia. Let me ask Devang Nanavati first. Devang, is this an attempt by Mr. Modi to reinvent himself in a sense, to not just appear to be a messiah of the middle class, but to appear more inclusive, to reach out to the poor? Because it was interesting when he was speaking to NRIs also over the weekend, he said this election is not about any post, but it's to wipe the tears of the poor. Whereas in the past, you know, he's not really used this kind of pro-poor language per se. Is he making a greater attempt now to reach out?
Oh, that is not correct, Nidhi. I think that's being unfair to Mr. Modi for the simple reason that for some of us who have followed him on the political scene for the past 7 to 8 years, in Gujarat, he speaks to the audience that he is addressing. If he is speaking to an audience of industrialists, he will address the concerns of industrialists and the issues that the industrialists face. If he is addressing the farmers, he will address the issues that farmers are facing. If he is addressing a particular community or a particular class of people, he will naturally address them. If he is addressing a general rally, he will naturally speak about all issues concerning all the people, right from the poorest to the poor, including to the topmost industrialists. That is how Mr. Modi has been dealing with. Now, you may select, you means not particularly you, a person may select any particular piece of speech and say, oh, but he is only addressing this part, oh, now he is addressing this part. That's not correct. He is speaking to a target audience. Every politician, every person who is an orator, who he speaks to with his ethos, with his pathos, with a logos. And that is what Mr. Modi does. And that is how a public speech is delivered. So what's so new about his talking about wiping the tear of every poor? In Gujarat, he has brought in so many schemes for the poor people, including right from the Kanya Kelavani to the farmers, to everything that he has done. Now you may agree, you may disagree, Amiben will shout with figures and say that this is not correct. Well, so be it. But the fact is that he has been doing it. Now it's one part of a society.
Is this a bit of a reaction to Rahul Gandhi claiming last week that, you know, in a sense that the BJP is elitist?
No, it's not a reaction.
We are the pro-poor.
At the end of the day, Nidhi, at the end of the day, let's not be naive. We are in a political battle. A political battle is fought on raising your issues. It also is fought on countering what the other side is saying. Now, it need not be done every time, But if a leader feels that the opposition leader has made some statement which needs to be countered, which is not correct or which needs to be answered or needs to be put in its proper perspective, the leader may so choose to do. Why are we becoming so politically naive and so, oh, because Rahul Gandhi spoke of inclusive growth, now Mr. Modi is taunting him. Mr. Modi has been taunting Rahul Gandhi since a long time. So if he felt that there was a point to taunt him, this is a political battle. All is fair in political war, and political speeches are made like this.
Okay, let me ask
what's
the Congress
this great
though.
debate about? I don't understand the whole hula hoop behind this speech.
Let me ask Ami-Ben Yagnik of the Congress then that, you know, Mr. Modi is largely seen, at least in the media and the perceptions that are out there, as someone who connects with the Indian middle class. And the Congress is generally perceived to be a pro-poor party. But is that are you in danger of underestimating the appeal Mr. Modi may have beyond, you know, the urban centers of this country?
Well, Nidhi, there is one thing very consistent in Mr. Modi's speeches and rallies. Speeches addressing any industrial audience or a school audience or a college audience or whatever, or these huge rallies where there are so many people which amount to some thousands of people. If you see, there is a consistent practice of changing the agendas all the time, and that one point agenda is only bashing the Congress and allegations against the Congress. He has no agenda because he has been appeasing the industrialists. Forget about the middle class. That is what he says by making statements. But it is only appeasement of industrialists in Gujarat, and whatever schemes that have come to Gujarat are from the central government, and they have been going on for the last 15-20 years, whether it's Indira Awas Yojana or whether it's a Kanya Kelauni, everything is coming from the central government and the states are implementing it. It's another matter that he is putting the state's name on those schemes. So let us not go that he changes, let us understand that he changes his statement every time when there is a rally. Now this rally was in Madhya Pradesh, it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan's rally, and there was a celebration of Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji, their founder member of their party, and see what the letter of Mr. Advani says, that you have forgotten what the founders of the party did, and you are now, there are some people who are catering to their personal interests. That comes true when these rallies are there, because you have forgotten for what the occasion is, and you only do nothing but bashing the Congress all the time.
Well, I think that's the point of the election. But before I come to Amir Raza Hussain and Rahul Narvekar, Siddharth Bhatia, do you think?
I need a quick response.
I'll come back to you, Devang. Siddharth, do you believe that there's a conscious attempt to change the image, because Mr. Modi is currently largely seen as, you know, pro-middle class, pro-corporates, pro-business. You know, is he trying to move away from that?
No, in fact, part of what he's doing is what any politician does, is, you know, changes a message, and the BJP representative has clearly enunciated this, change the message to suit the audience. I mean, if he talks to an ex-serviceman's, ex-army men rally in Rewari, he will talk about their problems. So that is there. At the moment, two things are going on. One is that no matter what he comes and says, his devotees, his fans, his followers are just going to roar in approval anyway. So that he's got that audience eating out of his hand. But slightly more importantly, and if you look at every message of his, I think the message that the BJP at this moment, and certainly Mr. Modi, has forgotten the poor is certainly gone down quite clearly. I mean, for a long time it has been known that, you know, you're talking about making India a superpower, giving licenses, etc. Now that's the message that has gone out. This is the message that the Congress is running with and attacking them, because inclusive growth, especially after food security and land acquisition bills, are messages that the Congress is going to project over and over again. See, this is what we did for the very poor of this country, money transfers, Narega, etc. For that, there is no direct answer that Mr. Modi can give. So he will have to now use phrases and try to counter it by ridiculing, as he himself said, taunting Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the Congress, etc. But so far he has not been able to come out and said, this is what we will do. So far it is just the early steps. He will have to come up with something to say that this is how we are poor, not merely saying the Congress is useless and the Congress
Okay,
is
that's a good
very
point.
bad.
I'll take
and
that
we
to
should
Rahul
get rid of the
Gandhi, an ally. Rahul, is that a critical point, that the BJP and the NDA will have to project how it is pro-poor, what it is doing for the poor, what are its schemes, as opposed to only attacking Rahul Gandhi and the Congress for it?
Well, Nidhi, at the outset, let me tell you that the NDA alliance firmly believes that action speaks louder than words. I don't think we need to spell it out. Our work in states ruled by NDA has projected what we can do for the poor. States like Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, which was a Bimaru 6 state, has been developed into one of the better progressing states in the country. So action speaks louder than words. Number two, insofar as the Congress party is concerned, for them, work for the poor and inclusive growth is equivalent to electoral gains, electoral politics. Even Rahul Gandhi's statement a few days back when he says, "Teen roti khao aur Congress ko jitao," only shows that the food security bill has been brought at this stage and this manner, only keeping in mind the votes of the lower section of the society. Therefore, these election gimmicks are known to people at large. Mr. Modi has hit the nail on the head when he said that the Congress's tactics with regards to inclusive growth and pro-poor measures is only a gimmick. For the last 60 years, the Congress party has ruled this country. Majority of the post-independence era has been ruled by the Congress party. If they could not do anything for the poor for the last 60 years, I doubt and I don't know what are they going to do in the next 5 years.
Okay, let me get a quick first comment from Amir Raza Hussain. Amir Raza Hussain, you have watched Mr. Modi closely, you watched the BJP's evolution closely. Do you pick up a change in the slogan, or do you think it's just something that will change from rally to rally? Because now, how can you talk about targeted audiences? Every rally is being beamed live all over the country.
Yes, yes. So, but actually, Nidhi, the thing is that every politician is first pro himself, then pro his party, and then pro his concept of nationalism or his concept of what is good for the country. So, to be fair to both Modi and Rahul Gandhi, they are just doing what has been done before. You see, what is pro-poor to Mamata Banerjee and what is pro-poor to Modi are two completely different concepts. They come from two completely different political schools of thought.
What is Modi's pro-poor? What do you think is Modi's pro-poor concept?
I think Modi's pro-poor concept is, I think Mamata's is to get the land back and give it back to the people who own it. I think Modi's pro-poor concept is to bring in the Tatas and bring in the Adanis and bring in industrialists, give them free land and see that there is employment of poor people in those industries. So I think these are completely two different ways. And the people who are actually pro-poor amongst the politicians in this country, they have bad economics. The people who are not pro-poor, they have good economics. So this is a problem with both the Congress and Modi and the BJP today.
But there's also a criticism, Ami Ben Yagnik, and I know Devang is dying to respond to you, and I'll just come to him next. But Ami Ben Yagnik, there's a criticism of Rahul Gandhi's style of politics is that he plays poverty politics, that by spending a night in a few homes of the poor, you are not necessarily pro-poor, that these are gimmicks, this is gimmickry, it doesn't add up to anything substantive.
Well, there is an argument which is there from the other side, and it is bound to be like that, because anything that is done for the people of this country, and if it is done by any political party, you would relate it with gimmicks and electoral politics. But can you not see what has happened in the last 10 years or even years before that, when the Congress was in power, that we have only come with plans and programs for the people of this country. Let us not go to pro-poor and all that, because this word industrialist has come from Gujarat, that you please them and go out of your way to give the major chunk of the state resources to these people, a few handful of people. So now coming down to all these words like gimmicks doesn't suit other political parties, because the country belongs to all of us, and we are striving here to see that the major chunk of these people go with all the basic amenities. And so this is not a gimmick at all. I think the policy and the legislation should be understood the way it is brought in this country.
Okay, Devang, yes.
No, my point is, did the Congress party realize that the poor do
Well,
not have enough
a couple of
food
quick
just last
points,
year?
because I need to
What were
respond
they
to
doing
what
for the
many
last
things that
60
were said.
years?
Okay.
First of
Rahul is
all,
asking what they've done for 60 years.
First
Devang, yes.
of all, Nidhi, first of
Well,
all,
what we have done for 60
Rahul
years
is absolutely right when he asked the questions for the
where
6
we have
decades.
come from,
But
where we were.
Amiben, I think
After
I am
60
responding.
years,
Will
if
you
you
do the
still have-
courtesy of letting me respond?
Yeah, let
Amiben,
Devang
you don't
speak.
want me to
I'll let
respond?
everybody get a comment.
You don't want me to respond, Amiben?
No, Devang,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, Nidhi, very quickly. First of all, whatever, if you are talking that Mr. Modi doesn't attract the pro-poor people or he doesn't appeal to the poor people, it's not that Gujarat did not have any poor people in the last 3 elections. Gujarat may be better placed in other states, but it also unfortunately has some poverty, and all those poor and rural people have also voted for the BJP led by Mr. Modi in Gujarat. So it's not that it is only industrialists who vote for Mr. Modi. If that was so, he would not be in power in Gujarat for the last 3 terms. That is first thing.
But you know, one
and I
second, Devang, I'll
absolutely
interrupt
agree
you there
that when
because
you
statistics show...
see somebody unfortunately begging on the...
I'm sorry, I'm just interrupting you there because statistics
Nidhi,
actually
let me
show
complete. Let
that
me
other
complete.
states have done
Let
better
me
than
complete.
Gujarat when it
Statistics
comes
we'll
to
discuss
reducing
separately
poverty.
if you want to
There are
discuss. We'll have
15
to-
other states that have done better than Gujarat in the last 10
No,
years.
Gujarat, if you will see the planning commission's own figures,
Yeah.
Nidhi, if you will see the planning commission's own figures, poverty has been maximum reduced in Gujarat in the past
No,
10
it
years.
hasn't. I'm
Employment
looking
has
at the
been
planning commission
79% of the total employment generated in the country has been
No.
in Gujarat.
No.
Anyways, let me complete my one point that I wanted to make, that here's the choice before the nation. You see somebody who's unfortunately begging for alms on the road. Do you create an infrastructure where that man can be skilled, can be developed and will get a job? Or would you just give him 5 rupee notes and hope that, okay, today I've given you 5 rupees, that's the end of the day? What is the choice that the nation wants? This is the difference between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi. One is to empower, one is to make the other person a slave to doles, which may not also be permanent, which are leaked and where there is corruption. This has been what is happening in the past 60 years. This is what has happened with Narega. And that is why Mr. Modi very rightly quoted none other than Mahatma Gandhi, who said that the Congress should have been disbanded
Devang, I'll read out
after
another figure
independence.
to you. This is NSSO data, which says that the urban-rural divide is really pronounced in Gujarat and has only increased in the last 10 years. In 1994, it was the urban monthly per capita expenditure was 49% higher in towns and cities than in villages. That has gone up to 68% in 2012. What does that tell you?
But that's simple economics, Nidhi. If you will compare it not just in Gujarat, in India, in other states or all over the world, you will find that whenever the economy grows, the urban expenditure, the urban spending goes up, the urban power, and then the rural power goes up. This is how transition in economics happens all over the world. It never happens reverse. You cite me one example where it has happened reverse.
Okay.
Please cite me an
So that's a
example,
good
a
thing.
statistic from the world.
Okay.
Any part of the world where it has happened reverse. So let's not get into this selective discussion of economics. If you want a discussion on economics, Nidhi, plan a show. I am sure either me or any appropriate representative from my party will be on it to discuss it.
I'll take that to Siddharth Bhatia. This particular point on, because the reason we talk about the Gujarat figures is because those are the figures that Mr. Modi always talks about. And the point is that, you know, is he going to be able to successfully move away from that image of being that middle class messiah?
Yeah, that's actually a very critical question. Actually, it's a question that actually strikes at the very root of what this battle is and what it's going to be about. Firstly, he has the difficult task of trying to tell people from other states what he has achieved, and that's going to be, it's quite an uphill struggle in that sense. Of course, he has his devoted followers who buy his message on several other fronts, this entire thing of bringing in business, etc. But does it translate into bringing in the fence-sitter voter, the completely new voter, the rural voter, etc.? So the real struggle here is two compellingly different visions of what you want to tell the country. One vision is the Congress, with all its liberalization, etc. in 91, and is really a party with a socialist heart, and it has been for the last 60 years. And when it goes out and gives this message, whether or not it succeeds, it does it with conviction. Mr. Modi has done a lot for his state, but the absolute vision, the optics of the entire thing is Vibrant Gujarat Summit, where industrialists line up to say what a great man he is. So now those are the two different messages. The BJP representative was saying that one party believes in, his party believes in, giving jobs because once you've set up an industry, etc. So that's a different outlook altogether. That outlook, that message is going to go down extremely well with the urban middle class, the aspirant, the younger generation, etc. But will this go forward? I mean, that's going to be a real uphill task for Mr. Modi, because nowhere, may I just complete this sentence, nowhere has Mr. Modi or his party been able to say that our heart bleeds for the really poor and we have a program that will uplift you out of your poverty.
Rahul Narvekar, same question I asked you earlier. Therefore, then what is the program? What's the alternative that the NDA offers?
No. Let me tell you, the policies of the UPA government itself are erroneous and are doing nothing to elevate the poverty standard levels in the country. For example, you look at the food security bill. Principally, no one is opposed to the food security bill. Yes, every mouth should be fed. There's no doubt. But rather than providing fish, I would teach them how to fish. And that's what the government is going wrong with. When there is an election year, the capital expenditure will increase. When there's an election year, there'll be a revenue deficit by such expenditure which is unaffordable. And then once elections are done, there'll be absolutely nothing done. You won't take any measures to ensure that we make them self-reliant. You'll be taking no measures to ensure that they can earn their own bread instead of depending on food security from the government. And that's what the Congress has done time and again.
Okay, Amir Raza Hussain, last comment from you. Do you think that the Congress has a reverse problem in that it is actually unable to connect with the Indian middle class, which actually did come out and vote for it last time, but it somehow lost the middle class along the way?
No, absolutely. The Congress has a disconnect with not just the middle class, it has a disconnect with today with all classes in the country. But what I need to say last of all is that, is there anyone here who actually believes that whether BJP comes to power, whether Congress comes to power, something is going to happen for the poor? For the last 60 years, BJP has also been in government, Congress has been in government for nearly 50 years of that time, but has there been any poverty alleviation amongst the poor? Has food reached the mouths which are hungry? Bills come, bills go. There was a bill assuring 100 days of work a year, but people will remain hungry. We do not trust the politician today. We do not trust at least the two major political parties that they will actually go out and do something for the lower middle class, for the poor.
Devang wanted to respond
and
to
this is what the large...
Okay, fair point.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say two things. I just wanted to quickly respond to Mr. Hassan. For his first part about the Congress for a change, I agree with him totally. The second part, as far as it is concerned, the question is that if he did not believe in BJP's policies before, of course he is now not with the BJP, why did he in the first place join the BJP? Was he not aware of the balance sheet of the NDA and the BJP from 2000 to 2004? So it's very easy to comment now when you're not there.
No, are we discussing my political career?
No, I'm just making a point. I'm not...
I joined the BJP
I'm not
because
I'm not making it personal, Mr. Hassan. I'm just stating. that why is this enlightenment
today only? We'll be here for another 5 hours if we get into why Amir Raza Hussain left the BJP. That's another story. Ami, then last word. Yes,
Nidhi. I think instead of saying and all things against the Congress that they are not doing anything for the poor and not bringing what they mean to bring the policies to the poor, I think they should be very clear in saying that we do not want to give this food security to the people of this country. They should be very candid and they should say it with conviction.
I am
sorry. Making sincere efforts from the Congress party to see that the people of the poor
to get the votes of the poor.
That's a very naive comment, Ami Ben.
You have to do enough to ensure that
no, it is not nice. It is a real comment. You should say very candidly, not attack the Congress. You must say very clearly.
Alright, well, I have to leave it at that. It's a fascinating debate.
We must all serve
but one we will continue to have many times over.
We must do it for another 100 years.
One that we will continue to have many times over in this election campaign. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us tonight. Siddharth Bhatia, though, will stay with us. When we come back, we're talking about the latest twist to the row over which Indian film should go to the Oscars. That's after the break. Well, a new twist to the Oscars row now. Filmmaker Gautam Ghosh, who headed the jury that selected India's entry, says that India should submit 5 films to the Academy every year since we make so many of them. That's after controversy over the selection of the Gujarati film The Good Road over other films like The Lunchbox that certainly seems to be quite a favourite with the crowds. Well, joining us tonight we have Mahesh Kothari, member of the Film Federation of India, one of the jury members who decided to go ahead with The Good Road. Siddharth Bhatia continues to stay with us. Anna Vetikart, film critic and author, joins us, and filmmaker Ken Ghosh is also with us tonight. Mr. Kothari, what do you think of Gautam Ghosh's comments that we should send 5 films because we make so many? He also said his personal choice was The Lunchbox, but then other jury members preferred The Good Road. What really went down in that meeting?
See, I cannot divulge what went on in the meeting, but what he has said is, what he has meant by saying that there should be more entries for Oscar from India, is that India is such a diverse country and so many languages are in this country, spoken in this country, and also so many regional films are made in this country. Tamil films, Telugu films, Malayalam films, Kannada films, Marathi films, Gujarati films, Bengali films, Punjabi films. There are just many of them, and each of them have their own culture. Therefore, when a French film is there, of course the French culture is just one, and one film selected from France. When they select a film from Poland, it's the Polish culture, the Polish language. But India is not one language. India is a multiple lingual country, and each language has its own region, has its own culture, and therefore he rightly said that India should be given an opportunity to make more than one entry.
But why should the Academy change its rules for India? That I mean, in a way, it doesn't make sense. Why should the rules be changed for one country?
It is not that they should change the rules. It is a suggestion that this should be the case. We are unfortunately forced. We had so many films. We saw nearly 22 films, and from 22 films we had to select one film. And all the 22 films which had come were very good films, including The Lunchbox. All the films were very good. But as jury members, we are allowed to select only one film, and therefore The Good Road was selected. And it was
Anna, should it be so hard? Should it be so hard to reach a consensus on one movie? What do you think of Gautam Ghosh's suggestion?
Sorry?
Nidhi, I have immense respect for Gautam Ghosh, but I think it's embarrassing that we would even consider suggesting to the Academy that they should allow us to send 5 films for the Academy Awards foreign language category. Because why? Why are we asking for special status? Every year, every country is invited to send one film to represent that country in the foreign language category. Now, we at the time of independence in 1947 chose to be one country. America is not responsible for that. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is not responsible for that. We also recognize a multiplicity of languages in the 8th schedule, which is fine. We should be proud of the fact, of course, that we have successful, thriving film industries in so many languages. But why ask for special status? Of course, there will always be debate, and it's a great thing that there has been debate this year. And I'm happy that about the fact that Gautam Ghosh has actually come out and said he preferred The Lunchbox simply because the Film Federation of India's selection of the film every year lacks transparency and lacks logic. But for us to say, look, we can't sort out our problems, we cannot decide the exact reasons why we are sending a film, therefore Academy, please, here's our begging bowl, please let us send 4 more films. I find that hugely embarrassing.
Okay, Ken Ghosh, as a filmmaker, do you agree with what Anna is saying, that it's a little embarrassing to be asking for the rules to be changed for us? Why is it so hard to choose one film, and why do we make these absurd selections from time to time?
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with Anna. I think the jury should just man up and say, yes, this is the choice, this is our choice, and stand by it. I know it's a thankless job being on a jury, because no matter whoever you choose, there are going to be 20 other people who are going to be unhappy. But I haven't seen The Good Road, so I mean I can't comment. But I mean, this is a choice, go with it.
Okay, but Siddharth Bhatia, is that part of the problem that a lot of people who've been reacting angrily to the choice of The Good Road are people who haven't actually seen the movie, and they've slammed it, and they're very over emotional reactions, as there are always on Twitter, aren't there, on everything, to the fact that the other movie won instead, or is going instead.
Well, you are on the social media, not on Twitter but on Facebook, and the default tone on Twitter for everything is either mocking or frivolity or outrage. So had Good Road, I mean, it happens that the Lunchbox had a lot of followers for various reasons. Mr. Anurag Kashyap, co-producer, led the charge by, rejecting the decision of the Film Federation of India. But you win some, you lose some. I mean, our own awards are so abysmal. Everyone knows that they are just nothing but entertainment shows. Now here is something that the country can send something. You didn't win, too bad, and you got to lump it in life. So that's not happened, but the whole lot of, I mean, it's almost a campaign. I don't know whether it's a campaign. It's almost a campaign, and it's quite strong and fairly bitter. So, and they have not seen the Good Road. Many of them have not seen the Good Road. They've just made up their minds about, this should not go because we love this more. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
as to Gautam Ghosh's thing, as to Gautam Ghosh's comment, this is, just one last. As the Gautam Ghosh's comment, this is, a typical example of Indian exceptionalism, We are different, therefore we must get some other, concessions.
Yes, we're so amazing. We'll not send you one bad film, we'll send you 5. Yes, Anna.
No, I just wanted to say that yes, I think it was quite sad that people who were saying that the Lunchbox should have gone, the Good Road shouldn't. A majority of them were people who hadn't seen the Good Road. Now, I have seen the Good Road. I hadn't seen it on the day that the announcement was made, but and it's really unfortunate that the producers NFDC and the distributors PVR Directors Rare had not released the film outside Gujarat. Having said that, I think that, the Good Road's a very sweet film. It's well shot, it's poignant, and it's a well-made film. But if I had to choose personally between the Lunchbox and the Good Road, I would choose the Lunchbox, not only because I think qualitatively the Lunchbox is in a different league altogether. It's just brilliant. But let's be practical about this. We shouldn't only be sending our best film. We should make a short list of our 10 best films of the previous year and then say, okay, from these 10 films, which are the films that the American audience and the Academy can relate to? And of these 10 films, which film has the greatest winnability factor? Now, the Lunchbox, in addition to being a great film, has already created a great deal of buzz at international film festivals. It's got itself a US distributor already. So the ability, clearly the film had greater ability to lobby.
But now, there's another worrying thing that Gautam Ghosh actually said, and Ken Ghosh, let me ask you about that. One of the other things he's quoted as saying in a couple of interviews today is that regional biases cannot be ruled out when we look at selection of films. During the selection process, he says, quote-unquote, regional filmmakers need to assert their identity, and that mentality sometimes seeps into the choices of the jury. That would be rather disturbing if that's how films were selected. I mean, does that explain why you have often absurd choices that have come forward in the past?
No, Nidhi, can I come
Ken
in?
Ghosh.
Probably, I mean, absolutely, that's true.
I think Mr. Ghosh...
One second, sir. I'm just asking a question to Ken Ghosh. I'll just come back to you. Yes.
Yeah, Nidhi, at the end of the day, the best film should be chosen and sent. Whether it's regional, national, whatever it is. I mean, we've got, and as Anna said, the best film that has got the best chance of winning in the Academy. With a US, with an American mindset, understand what they like and what they see in our cinema, and cater to that. It's all about winning the award at the end of the day.
Yes, Mr. Kothari. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, no, I would like to say that Mr. Gautam Ghosh has been very strongly misquoted. He, I'm sure, never meant what he said, because and one more thing I would like to point out, Nidhi, that all the members of the jury were from a very intellectual class. Most of them are very good filmmakers, most of them are associated with the film industry, and when anyone submits a film to a jury, it is of paramount importance that the person is accepting the jury's verdict. Now, when the jury's verdict comes out, definitely some people are bound to be disappointed, and it's a matter of sour grapes, I'll tell you. When your film is not selected, you start throwing wild remarks at the jury members and call them inept and call them biased to regional. I mean, all these things come up afterwards. The Good Road was seen by all, and it was a unanimous choice of 16 intellectuals sitting in the jury.
But then why does Gautam Ghosh say it was not his choice? He's the first one to say that the lunchbox was his choice.
Nidhi, may...
No. I don't know what he said to you, what he said to the press.
No, I'm telling you what he said.
I am confident that he has been misquoted. He has been misquoted.
But you know, that's fine, because selection of films is subjective, and obviously critics will be subjective as well. But I'm sure, Mr. Kothari, you would agree that some of the choices that have been made in the past are unanimously terrible. I mean, why did Jeans, for instance, have to go as India's Oscar entry? Do you really believe that Jeans was going to win the Oscar? Really, honestly?
What had been in the past.
Yeah, but sure. But then you would agree that there's something wrong with the process.
When we deliberated and we saw I'm sorry.
No.
When we saw the 21 films and each one of us deliberated on them, each one of us came and sat on the last day and discussed each and every film in detail, and then it was unanimously decided to send the good.
Well, so you're saying it's unanimous. Gautam Ghosh is saying it's not. Ken Ghosh wanted to come in. Yes.
No. Gautam Ghosh did not say it is not unanimous. Gautam Ghosh said that there were two angles to it. 1 minute, I would like to
he's saying he preferred the lunchbox, so that's not a unanimous choice. But that doesn't matter. It's subjective.
Gautam Ghosh said,
yes, Ken.
Gautam Ghosh said that there is one choice which is a personal choice and one which is a collective choice. I don't know what he means by that, but here the collective choice is what I'm talking about.
Exactly. What does that mean?
Was the good road.
So Ken is asking. Yes, Ken.
I don't know, he has given this, I don't know whether he has
what does that mean?
Or what, I have not interacted with him.
Individual choice and collective choice, I mean, because other people like something, so you change your mind, what does that mean? I would think that after they voted, after the jury voted, they came out and there was a major backlash against their decision, and they suddenly realized there was this whole cult following behind the lunchbox, and now they're trying to, sort of make way, make...
No. I'll tell you that today's Times of India newspaper, excuse me, can I butt in, Nidhi? Can I butt in on
this?
Yes. The Times of India newspaper today gave a headline saying something which Mr. Ghosh never said. And to that effect, he has sent an SMS, a copy of which I am having. He has sent the SMS to everybody, including the editor of the Times of India, that he has been grossly misquoted. Now, when he says he has been misquoted, I am confident that it is not so, because it was decided in the meeting that there will be no controversy from our side. We will stick to what our decision is.
Precisely,
and we are not afraid of any consequences here.
Yeah, good point.
What part he has been misquoted in his entire statement.
Was the whole thing made up?
Can I just say something? Can I say something, Nidhi?
Yes, Siddharth.
All right.
I think one of the things that should now happen, because I think there's been a lot of allegations of regional bias and all that, is why not make the names of the jurors public? I mean, that will help in some way at least. We don't need to know how they arrived at the decision, that's their personal choice. But why not make the names of the public? I mean, it's not such a state secret. So that at least will inspire a little bit more confidence. No, how the jurors are chosen, yes, of course, but once the jurors are chosen, who are they? And what are their credentials? Mr. Kothari says that they are all great filmmakers. Yes, certainly they may be. I mean, juries in the past, as you said, have offered us Jeans and all that kind of thing, a real travesty of a movie. But why not mention who they are? And that should go for all juries, frankly.
All right. Well,
yes,
that's
can I just step in here?
Interesting
Because,
last word, Anna. Yes.
Transparency.
Yes.
The lack of transparency is a big problem. We should know what the short list was. We should know what the long list was. We should know who all entered their films. And why not give a press conference with all the jury members explaining why they selected a film. And let us, of course there must be regional biases. This is India. There will be state biases. There will be a Hindi bias, an anti-Gujarati, an anti-Malayalam, a pro-Tamil, whatever bias. But that's something we need to deal with internally instead of embarrassing ourselves abroad. And let's be logical. Why are we sending these films? We have 3 films that ultimately managed to get nominations in the foreign language category in all these decades.
Exactly.
Mother India, Salam, Bombay and Lagan. There was a certain idea of India which perhaps the West relates to, that these films projected. They were not misrepresenting India, they were not insulting India, they were great films, we all agree on that. But let's look at why those films won nominations and then say, okay, so based on that, let's select our films. Because don't ask, why should we bother about the Oscars? The Oscars are a great platform and we need to use that.
All right, very interesting. Otherwise, as you say, Anna, if you don't have a more transparent process, then you might end up sending more classics like Jeans and Devdas to the Academy Awards. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on the show tonight. And that's it on the show this evening. We'll see you again with more political debates tomorrow. Do join us then.